The new Scorpio is here. They're calling it the big daddy of SUVs and they're focusing on authenticity, on credibility. This is a proper ladder frame SUV. This has got rear wheel drive. It has got petrol engines and the diesel engine, automatic and manual transmission. It's got four-wheel drive along with low ratio. So a proper SUV with proper credentials. Let's have a close look at the all-new Scorpio.
You can't name a lot of things that I didn't do. Stacking paper like a book, not a Kindle. You outdated, I'm the one they getting into, and I don't break a sweat.
So the styling of the new Scorpio has been inspired by the old Scorpio, which actually is not the old Scorpio because that continues to be on sale along with this new Scorpio. This definitely looks more modern. It has got that big, imposing presence. So you will not mistake this for anything else on the road. Now you get this massive chrome slats, which actually gives it good presence, dual barrel headlamps, LED DRLs down here. When you see this in your rear view mirror, you will not mistake this for anything else. I am 5'9" and this is actually taller than I am. So definitely a proper SUV. Massive ground clearance. You have this running board so you can get into the Scorpio easily. And they claim that this is the only SUV in its class that you can walk in and out of. We will talk about that when we actually get inside the Scorpio. It runs both 18-inch as well as 17-inch alloy wheels. This one has got the 18-inch wheels. This is the top-end variant with the automatic gearbox. I can see that out here. Both petrol as well as diesel engines this Scorpio gets. So let's run through the interiors of the new Scorpio. Now, first things first, it's got regular dials and I actually prefer that. I prefer this to the full digital display. Whereas in the center of those dials, you have a proper TFT display, which can also display maps. So it is actually functional as well as, I don't know, it looks sort of nicer than just those artificial digital dials. You get a touchscreen infotainment system with all the bells and whistles. You can even start the Scorpio from remotely. You can turn on the air conditioning remotely. I don't know how many people use that, but it has got all those connected features. A lot of these switches are familiar from the XUV700 and the Sony sound system. What I claim is a banging Sony sound system has also been taken out of the XUV700. It has got that Adrenox connectivity features. It has got wireless Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto. The sunroof, a regular size sunroof, but they claim that this is the widest in its class. It's not a panoramic sunroof. The seats on the top end variant, which I'm sitting in, it actually is electrically adjustable and it goes down nice and low. But if you adjust it to how you should when you're driving an SUV, this actually gives you fantastic visibility. It seems like you're sitting on top of the world. It gives you that really commanding driving position. The steering wheel will be familiar from the XUV700, slight flat bottom thing going on out here, cruise control, a lot of the switches out here. Like with the XUV700, no paddle shifters behind the wheel. This is the 6-speed automatic gearbox. I'm not sure, well, this is redlined at 5,000 RPM. So this is the diesel. The diesel, it makes 175 PS of power. The petrol, it makes 200 PS of power. But the diesel, that gives you 400 Newton meters of torque. The petrol, it gives you 380 Newton meters of torque. I'll start it. The refinement in here, I'm telling you, is brilliant. You can still hear the generators humming outside, but the engine, you can't hear it at all. You can't feel the vibrations. This refinement is really good. The steering, let's see. Well, the steering, it only adjusts for rake, does not adjust for reach. That's a shame. It should have adjusted for rake. It would have given you a better driving position. You get a regular handbrake. Now, like I said, this does not get the terrain feature, but you can also specify this. You can get optional shift on the fly, four-wheel drive with terrain modes. So that's a cool thing if you intend to go off-roading. This, after all, is a proper ladder frame SUV, so it is rugged and it also has that solidity. Now, in terms of the interiors, this actually reminds me of the current Scorpio. This shallow dash, the high seating position. They've listened to us. And now you've got grab rails on the A-pillars. This is something that we criticized on the Thar, but no longer. The Scorpio, it has integrated grab rails on the A-pillar. It's got 6 airbags, it's got ESP, a lot of work has gone into safety. Mahindra are focusing a lot on safety. The XUV 700 is the safest car in India right now, and this should be the safest body on frame SUV. But of course, we will wait for the global NCAP results to come in. But they have made it a point to focus on safety, and they have been telling us about that also. The seats, well, there is no seat coolers. These are leatherette seats, and it's got this sort of dark brown color, which looks good. Perforated seats, but no coolers. It's got the hill descent control out here. It got front and rear parking cameras. The parking camera, the display is actually not that, well, actually it is. Oh, it's got a camera out here, so you can take pictures and store it in your gallery. Cool thing. But like I was saying, the camera is not that big. You can zoom in if you would like, and it gives you the side view. So it's got a 360-degree camera. Cool thing. Really, a lot of features here on the Scorpio. It's got a wireless charger out here, and like I said, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, so you're freed from the tyranny of wires. And yeah, this is the interiors of the Scorpio. Let's jump in at the back and have a look out there. So Mahindra claimed that this is the only SUV where you walk into it. And like you saw what I did just now, you actually do walk into the Scorpio. You don't walk into a Thar. You have to really climb into it, and let's not talk about the backseat of the Thar. But here you walk in, and in terms of space, this driver seat is adjusted to my driving style and my position. And I've got like 2-3 inches of free knee room. There is enough headroom. Looks like there's a decent amount of shoulder space. The transmission tunnel is actually not that big, so sitting in the middle is pretty alright. It is a little bit steep, but it's actually alright. You get blowers at the back and a USB-C port for your rear passengers. You get a center armrest. So overall, it actually is nice, and because you're sitting so high up, the view out is actually pretty good. It is also very comfortable. But what about the third row? Let's find out. So getting into the third row of the Scorpio, a one-touch lever, you have the footrest, so you can use that, and then you climb in at the back. It's not difficult, and I don't know if I'm breaking the embargo by giving opinions, but what the hell. And that's the, that's the space in the third row. You can draw your own conclusions. This is how I'm sitting inside. Okay, not for fully grown adults, but I guess 2 kids, they will fit in properly out here. Do you get aircon vents? Well, no, you don't get aircon vents out here. You get speakers, so your Sony system will sound good when you're sitting here at the back. The glass area is actually quite decent, so you won't feel cooped in out here. You get a proper 3-point seat belt, even when you're sitting in the third row. You don't have USB points out here, but you have a small little stowage space. And yep, this is the third row. Can you adjust the, no, you can't adjust the backrest angle either. So this is it. This is the space in the third row. Our driving impressions are embargoed, but I just want to show you this. This is a Scorpio, and if you remember the old Scorpios, you needed muscle even though it had power steering. This has got electric power steering, and this is how you turn. This is how easy it is. Basically, you can do it with one finger. A massive change over the Scorpios that we know and love. I want to dive into the details of the Scorpio. Now at the unveil, Velusamy, who is the engineering head at Mahindra, he talked in depth about all the engineering that went into this, and it is quite a bit. So I'll have to refer to the screenshots of my phone, and we'll also play out some of the clips on the screen as you see it. Now let's start with the dimensions. 187 mm ground clearance, which is solid. They haven't given out a water wading depth, but we will find that out later on. It is claimed to be the tallest in its class, widest in the class, so it gives it a very imposing presence. The wheelbase, 2,540 mm. The seating height, that is 854 mm, and it is claimed to be the highest in its class, and that is claimed to deliver the best visibility, 6% better than the best in this class. Now let's swipe to the next. the claimed roominess. Better legroom in the first and the second row than the best rival in his class, and 3% more shoulder room again compared to the best in this category. Now, Velusamy, he claims that it's not the center of gravity that determines the dynamics, but the roll arm height. Now, according to this graphic, the center of gravity is around here somewhere, but the roll arm height, that is around here somewhere. So that should make a big difference in terms of the dynamics. We will find that out when we drive it tomorrow, but he claims that this will be the best handling SUV in the category, and also they have worked a lot on the suspension. So it's got double wishbones at the front and a Penta link at the rear. Penta link means 5 links, and it has a Watts linkage. Now, the Watts linkage is not something new. This actually has been around for a while, but that gives it very good torsional rigidity. Let's move to the body. Now, the body in white, the weight has been reduced, and it now weighs 293 kilos. That is 13% lighter than before. It also has 10% better torsional rigidity. Then the frame. The frame is 10% lighter. This is an all-new frame. It is not carried over from the earlier generation Scorpio, and that weighs 213 kilos, and the torsional rigidity is also better than the outgoing frame. In fact, the body in white and the frame, in total, it weighs around 500 kilos, and the total weight of the SUV is approximately 1900 kilos. On the subject of torsional stiffness, this is claimed to be 8.7% better than the D segment benchmark. The bending stiffness is claimed to be 52.1% better than the D segment benchmark. So it is robust. There's no denying that. The dampers, these are FDD dampers, that is frequency dependent damping, and this is claimed to give really good ride comfort. So even if the roads are really bumpy, the body, it remains planted. And in addition, the dampers have what Mahindra calls is MTVCL technology, that is multi-tune valve with concentric land. Complicated, claims to be really good in terms of ride comfort. How does it perform? We'll find out tomorrow. Ultimately, it all depends on pricing, and Mahindra, they've priced the Scorpio really aggressively. Now, there's a whole bunch of prices, so I can't remember all of that, but the top end, the Z8L variant, comes in at under 20 lakhs, 19.49 lakhs to be precise. Now, the prices of the 4x4 as well as the automatic aren't out. That'll be out in July when test drives are open across the country. The range, it starts with the Z2. The Z2 petrol comes in at under 12 lakhs, and the Z2 diesel is 12.49 lakhs. And then, of course, the other variants, Z2, Z4, Z6, Z8, and the Z8L. Like I said, it comes in at 19.49 lakhs. The entire pricing sheet should be on your screen right now. What do you think about the pricing? Let us know in the comments below. Also, behind me, that's Pratap Bose. Let's go and talk to him and ask him about the styling. Pratap, congratulations on the Scorpio. It's exactly a year since you took over the reins at Mahindra Design. Tell us about the key elements in this new Scorpio.
Thank you, Sirish. Yeah, it's been exactly a year. I'm very fortunate to have come into the company at the point at which we launched the 700. And of course, here's the Scorpio N. And the key features, nothing. You can't describe any car if you don't start with a face. And this really upright grille with the 6 vertical elements, the new logo that sits in there. And in fact, that sets off, how these elements were placed. These very, very purposeful lamps. I think I always say the, eyes are the soul of a person. So these lamps really already start hinting at what Velu has put underneath the hood. Then you have, of course, the reverse trapezoidal air dam in the front, and I truly love the DRL. I think the Scorpio Sting DRL is going to become one of those signature elements of the Scorpio N.
Was it by design that you actually took in styling elements from the earlier Scorpio? Because this looks like a Scorpio, this is what you expect a Scorpio to be, but of course more modernized.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to maintain a DNA, but not be bound by it. Sirish, I feel anytime you are working on an iconic nameplate, it's very important to start there but not end there. You've got to end at a different place because the world has changed around us, the customer has changed. So if you see, there's this maybe a glimpse of familiarity, but everything is totally new. And of course, you keep the power bulge, but we got rid of the, a lot of people said, where's that
the scoop
intake gone? We're talking about authenticity, and I want to, if that scoop wasn't playing a function, it wasn't needed. So where do you draw that balance, But really the strength of the hood, the height, I mean, look at the height at which it's
Yes.
at.
Yeah.
You know,
It's taller than I am.
this is not a hatchback which is made to look like an SUV.
Definitely. You want to come over to the profile and
Yeah.
talk about it because the stance and the way it sits on the wheels actually
Yeah.
is really striking. Also, the wheel arches, they're not overdone,
No.
but yet it's got muscle in it.
Yeah, so what we did in the Scorpio N is all the muscle of the wheel arch has actually gone onto the sheet metal. So the plastic is a smaller element, much more refined, but it houses these beautiful laser, diamond cut wheels, 18 inches of them. And also, Sirish, if you see how laterally they are so close to the sort of, surface of the car, that's very important. The wheels are the shoes of a car. You can't wear a suit and then not have a nice pair of shoes.
Did you want bigger wheels?
We always want bigger wheels. We always want bigger wheels.
What was it designed for?
I feel when we do a design process, my philosophy is make it look good in the smallest wheels. Then as soon as you put a bigger wheel on, you're fine. So, these were designed for 17, 18, 19. But I think 17 and 18 is a great balance.
Yeah. You also have the height. This
Yeah.
is really tall.
Yes. Now that's a hint at the body on frame construction. Those cars tend to be a little taller, but in this case we were really fortunate to be able to offset that with the width. So it's not high. It's not one dimension
Yes.
alone.
Yeah.
It's that versus the width of the car and of course the length.
And I like the fact that at the rear, now, once you pointed it out, that's when we noticed the Scorpion
Yeah.
sting. So this is the Scorpion sting.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. In fact, Sirish, this came from one of the Pininfarina sketches, funnily enough. They felt, that why can't we give that little character? Because one of the designers said that when you're in city traffic, urban traffic, you don't get to see cars in their entirety. You're sitting inside the car, you only usually see cabins of other cars. So when you're sitting in another car, you will see that this is a Scorpio N, and you will wish that you were in the Scorpio N.
So BMW has the Hofmeister King and the Scorpio has got the Scorpion Sting.
Sting, absolutely.
Nice story. I also like the fact that you've kept
Chunky.
these exposed door handles, not the flush door handles which
Yep.
everybody's moving to. It gives it that little muscular stance.
Yeah, look, the door handle is your first point of contact with the car, physical contact. It's a handshake with the car. And I think when you like when you shake someone else's hand, when you shake the hand of a car through its door handle, it tells you a story of how the car is built.
Yeah.
And this is built for that rugged, robust, without becoming agricultural, without becoming, unrefined. So it's a very, very nice door handle. It's a great feel when you open the door. When you shut the door, the sound is amazing as well.
Yeah. Before I shake your hand, I want to talk about the tail lamps. Now, the Scorpio always had that full vertical tail lamps. Though this does look like a Scandinavian brand that we won't talk about. Obviously, everybody's tried a lot of things, so you might have memories of other brands, but you did show a full horizontal width tail lamp. Why didn't you carry that over to this?
Yeah, this particular Scorpio N and the Scorpio name has a side opening door as opposed to tailgates that most SUV have. So the side opening door has some challenges in the hinging, in how it's constructed. So we then said let's focus more on the lamp. Let's get some great design features in there, and yes, bring the DNA of the vertical tall lamp that we brought in 20 years ago. So some Scandinavians probably were influenced by that.